Hello YouTube. So this video is gonna be like a part two. Gosh, I have something in my eye. I'm sorry if I'm gonna touch my eye for the whole video, but it's been there for like 3 hours and it won't clear, and I've been blinking, and I really want to make this video. So having said that, this is sort of a follow-up of a video that I made previously, and that video was how to become an armed security guard. Well, this segment is about my first day on the job being armed and what it was like, and subsequently days after, what it's like. So the day I got my permit, I called up my office and told them, hey, I am now certified to carry a weapon. And, I was pretty excited about it. I couldn't wait for them to put me on the site. But they kept telling me, oh, well, there's no armed sites open, so there's only unarmed positions. And then eventually a week later, they says, actually, we're gonna put you on this one site and you'll be armed. And I just remember thinking to myself, wow, I'm gonna be carrying a firearm. This is so weird. This doesn't feel okay. So, well, it didn't feel right, and I say that because I'm like, wow, little old me is carrying a gun in public. Like, who am I? And there's a sense of intimidation, a huge sense of responsibility. Then occasionally I would daydream and think, wow, what if I had to use this thing? Oh man, that's such a responsibility. Maybe I'm not cut out for an armed position. You overthink things. Ultimately, I find myself at the job site. I've got my sidearm on my side, getting dressed that morning. So let me backtrack a little. Getting dressed that morning, putting on my vest and everything. I'm so used to doing that. Not a big deal. Then I put my sidearm out and walked outside, and was thinking, oh my goodness, what if the neighbors see me? You get all these weird emotions now that you have a gun on your side. But obviously nobody did notice me. They noticed me in uniform every day. Having that gun on the side does absolutely nothing to them. It phases them not at all. But in my mind, I kept thinking, wow, what if they see it? What are they going to think of me? Are they going to be nervous that their neighbor has a gun? But none of that happened. So then I show up on the site. To be honest, after having it on my side for the duration of the trip, which is like 1 hour drive from my house to the post that I was at, I kept forgetting that I even had a gun on my side. You get used to it really quickly. Then of course when I showed up on the site, I just felt a little bit hyper aware now that I have a gun on my side. 20 minutes into it, I started forgetting about the whole thing. Couple hours into it, it was nothing. And here I am, quite a bit longer, a while longer. I don't even think twice about the gun. I mean, it's not even, it is a big deal, but as far as the tools that I have on me, and when I say tools, I mean my knife, flashlight, pepper spray, gun. It's just another accessory that I put on. It's used as a deterrent. I really just hope not, and never foresee me having to pull my gun out. I've used what they call verbal judo to de-escalate situations. If somebody gets loud, I just talk them down. I've never had to pepper spray anybody, taser, pull out my firearm. Honestly, I've never had to do... Oh, no, I take that back. Tasers come out a few times, but I didn't tase anybody. I pulled it out and had it on my side. Same with pepper spray, but I never used it on anybody, okay? So, you'll find that in a lot of situations, you could just talk people down. But back to the story. Having that firearm on me, you get used to it really quickly, and then it stops becoming a big deal, and sometimes it actually becomes a hassle. These firearms are heavy, just another piece of equipment to weigh you down. but they do get you into better jobs. You do get a raise. How much that raise is, it really depends on the site you're on. Um, that's something you'd have to talk to your HR person about. With my company, at least, there's one thing I didn't know. So now that I'm armed, I just assumed I got a all-around raise, but it doesn't work that way. I only get paid extra when I'm on a site that requires you to be armed. But on sites like the one I am on today that don't require you to be armed, I still bring my firearm with me, but I don't get paid extra for having it with me. So, I mean, I keep it with me just because it's a sense of security, peace of mind. But as far as actually needing it on this post, no, I don't need it at all. Again, I don't anticipate pulling it out, but if an emergency ever called for me to pull it out, there will be no hesitation. I promise you that. I heard a guy once say, it's going to be tasers first, and after that, it's going to be nothing but bullets. Well, I kind of have that mentality. If I want to tase somebody, if it as a deterrent, and then go for the firearm last. And even that, you got to be in the right place mentally to want to. Oh, well, anyways, that's a whole different topic. But again, use that verbal judo. Try to avoid, by all means, ever using your firearm. I guess I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. I just try to do. It's one of those things. I try to discourage people from getting a firearm, but then I encourage you to get one. So I'm on that gray area. Anyway, so there you go. The firearm, I've gotten used to it. It's not a big deal. It's a big deal if you use it, but not a big deal if you carry it. Some things to consider. Man, let me tell you, when you have a firearm, a lot of people will look at you. That's for sure. They'll, as a guard, they kind of glance at you. But now that you have a firearm on their side, they're like, oh crap, this isn't just your ordinary guard. Or what is this guy? I mean, is he a branch of the military, or is he a cop? Or you get that a lot. People just look at you. They don't verbally say something to you, but that look is there. I've also, had people just stop and literally just look down at my gun. And, it kind of makes you feel uncomfortable. I have told a few people, hey, you need to step back. I get it. You want to look at me, but there's a safety zone I've got here. You're in my bubble. I have had a few times, and thank God for the safety features that keep my gun in its holster. Again, you always have to have awareness of your gun. Always. Even when you're in the bathroom, if there's somebody on your right side, man, scoot down to the next stall. You don't want that person to be next to your firearm and have them grab it. But I've been like at a post where I'm just standing there and walking down an aisle. A kid will just turn and just touch the gun, and I'm like, hey, no, you cannot do that. And I let them know, like, don't ever touch a gun. And then I tell the parents, like, hey, you need to, keep a leash on your kid here. But I have had little kids run up and try to touch it. Now I'm really hyper aware of that, and whenever I see kids in the area, I always just have my hand next to my firearm to make sure that they don't even touch it. But better yet, I always know where they are, so that so I can keep a visual on them, because they don't know any better. They're not trying to grab it, obviously, to commit a crime. But having said that, their safety is paramount to me, and the safety of others. I can care less about my life. I don't want nothing happening to that little kid or the people around me at this point. So, yeah, there's something to consider, But then again, you may have some nutcase who just is driven on ending their life, and they try to grab your gun. So, again, you have to be hyper aware when you have that gun on your hip. It's a big responsibility. And, again, it just may lead into another video. Haven't thought this over. I might make a video on how to transport your gun, how to be aware of it, couple tips. So maybe I'll do like a top 10 tip thing about having a firearm on post. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry. This video, I kind of rambled a lot. Again, it has to do with my eye. My eye scratches so bad, and I don't want to touch it. And it's causing me to like get distracted. And then I also notice as I'm recording here, I've gotten a phone call from my dad, who never calls. And then I've gotten text messages, and it's distracting as well. I almost ended the video just to give him a call back, but I'm too far into it to do that. So anyways, if you have any questions, just certainly feel free to message. Other than that, remember, having a firearm, millions of people carry them. I know it might be intimidating at first, but you do get used to it. But don't ever get used to it, but don't get used to it, right? Always be hyper aware that you've got this deadly weapon on your side, and you know, it could be a game changer. So you don't want to like fall asleep with this thing just sitting here and have somebody grab it on you. You certainly want to be hyper aware. Other than that, thank you guys. Take care, and most importantly, be safe.